Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever part of the world that you are currently at, sending shots out to you. Definitely. I'm Tony Barge. That's my name. And you're here today because you want to learn how to overcome the challenges of hiring the wrong person for a leadership position. And what I would like to know is who you are. So if you would please tell me who you are, where you live, and why you're here today. Okay? It's critical. It's important. I'd like to know what it's all about. True story. I like to start. I always like to start with a story with every webinar that I do, so you kind of get a bird's eye view of how this applies in the real world. I had a client. One of my clients, he's a CEO. True story. My client told me I actually helped him save him from getting fired because I actually helped him replace an executive bad hire so quickly. And the reason why this was such a bad hire because the board members held him accountable for the decision of hiring the COO. And a lot of bad news was coming back to board members about this newly hired COO. Within a year, okay, within a year, 10 top performing employees left the company because of because of the COO's leadership style. And my CEO client didn't receive his bonus that year. Really made him unhappy, ticked him off a little bit. So my client was receiving a lot of pressure already from board members to fix issues with CEO. So my client CEO spoke to the COO and sent him through some training courses, but still more employees left because of the COO's behavior. Finally, after my client exhausted all options, my client had no choice but to fire the COO. But before he fired the CEO, he contacted me, and him and I devised an executive recruiting strategy to ensure that he hired the right fit executive for his organization. Because another bad hire would have definitely cost him his job. We're going to be covering this strategy in this webinar. Okay, so we're going to be sticking around. So don't even think. You're going to be learning this today. Okay, you're going to be learning this, and I'm super excited to show it to you. But I need some energy in the room. If you're excited to change your life in the next 30 days, take action today. Write "I'm ready" in the comment section. In the next 30 minutes, you're going to learn how to overcome the challenges of hiring the wrong person for a leadership position. So make sure you stay. Hey, don't even think about leaving. Stay for the next 30 minutes because you don't want to miss my next tips. In the next 30 minutes, this is for anyone who owns a business or who's in charge of hiring and retaining of employees and staff. This is for anyone who owns a business dedicated to healthcare, pharmaceutical, biotechnology, life care management, and this even applies to other industries. Let's face it, anybody has a successful organization or business, this applies to that. A lot of these concepts and strategies apply to that. If your calling is about helping patients or helping people and their family, this is definitely the webinar for you. In the next 30 minutes, we're gonna definitely review how hiring that right executive and not making that wrong hire, and how successful of an organization depends on hiring for leadership roles. Strong leadership hires are crucial because they're the people who are building and developing your team. They're inspiring each team member to do their very best. Leadership hires typically take recruiting teams a lot of time, resources to ensure that they are the right fit. Hiring the wrong leader can severely impact the company's bottom line and culture as well. And here at RNA Search Inc., we know that leaders we hire are responsible for building great workplaces so we can attract, hire, retain the top tier talent to reach our business goals. This is why we thoughtfully crafted top interview questions for leadership positions so you can hire the best leaders for your organization. My promise to you is a step-by-step strategy for shifting your recruiting to be more competitive. Does this sound like you? Business owner, CEO, president, executive officer, HR professional. We love you all. Wearing a ton of hats. You know, you have to spend more time recruiting and retaining, but there are so many things that you need to do. Managing the ads, the conversations, reaching out, trying to get qualified candidates in your door for interviews, orientations, paperwork. I know the whole 9 yards. If you're calculate man hours, ad costs specifically for recruiting and retaining, you know that you're spending more than $92,500 per month. It can be expensive. Do you ever wonder if your company recruiting strategy done correctly would bring the company more profitability? Excuse me, let me take a quick sip of my green tea. All right, thank you for your patience. All right, the real problem is you're doing things the old way. Okay, it's new and outdated way. Uh, sometimes the old way, the conventional way works, but sometimes the old conventional way it actually expires, and there's a new way to doing things, more modern, more technology driven, more geared to helping you accomplish your goals in a cost effective way. Okay, when you have made the shift, you are less stressed, worried about losing candidates to competition or employees. You hire the right people to do the right job. Your revenue goes up. Your recruiting mindset will change. You will see big increases in performance and decrease in turnover significantly. Your time, man hours spent on parts of recruiting process will decrease. The frustration of recruiting and dealing with the unknown human element will decrease as well. The simple shift you need to make to get your recruiting under control, your time spent productively, and the ability to have more work-life balance in your life. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to make those shifts today. Who am I? I always love talking about myself. Who doesn't, right? Tony Barge, MBA graduate, emphasis in healthcare management. I'm proud, passionate owner, CEO of RNA Search Inc., changing lives, saving lives, making a difference in many people's lives. That's what we do here. And you'll see, realize that, find that out. Author of 2 books, talent acquisition nerd. Think of myself like nerd, guru, veteran advocate. See, that's me back in the day when I was in the Marine Corps. Semper Fi, do or die. If I have any veterans on the line or any veteran families or even any patriots of America, true patriots of America, of this beautiful nation, gotta love it. Gotta love it. For better or for worse, right? Father of 2 sons, AJ and Jaron, and there's my dog Sheba. She's on the guard. She is on security. And then those are my 2 beautiful boys, AJ and Jaron. I love them. Okay. Now, who is RNA Search Inc.? RNA Search Inc. is, first of all, we're an international executive search firm based in Beverly Hills, California. So if you're ever in the Los Angeles area, please don't hesitate to stop by. Wilshire, La Cienega, right there. The firm brings over 35 years of experience, referrals, relationship, and technology to uncover the best to fit a company needs. RNA Search Inc. reflects high standards of professionalism throughout the recruiting process. The hard work has resulted in hundreds of successful permanent, temporary, and consultant placements worldwide. Discovering the shift. The key shift you must make in your recruiting thought process and your activities to see better results. I'm going to walk you through them in this session. The top 3 interview questions for leadership positions. Tell me about someone you manage and who was struggling, what happened, and where are they now? And we're going to break down exactly the diagnose and assess why that question is so important. Then the next question will be, tell me about feedback you received from your peers. And we're going to discuss that as well. Tell me about an unpopular decision that you made. These are questions you must ask your executive leadership candidates. when you interview them. Tell me about someone you've managed who was struggling. What happened and where are they now? This question addresses a few things: how effective this leader is at coaching, constructive and consistent feedback, how seriously they take performance issues. And I also look for a reflection here. Are there things that they would have done differently? Would they have taken action sooner? Would they have had a harder conversation earlier? The second part to this question is, where are they now? Can help uncover how successful this leader was at coaching, where they're able to partner, where they're able to partner with this individual, contribute to get them to back on track. And if they moved on, what kind of role did they tackle next? And have they continued to grow or not? Critical question to ask. Tell me about feedback you received from a peer. This is a very critical and important question, because this question can get the humility, open-mindedness in action. Were they defensive? Did they carefully consider the feedback? And more importantly, what did they do about the feedback? Did they implement it? I look for short stories or other indications that show me how they're directly applied that feedback. No one wants a leader that is impenetrable when it comes to feedback, especially if they're managing a team. Let's face it. It's also can uncover a growth mindset and not to. This is something I'm still working on, or the key is to acknowledge self-awareness and action. Another important question to ask a leadership candidate during an interview: tell me about an unpopular decision you made. This question can highlight how a leader seeks to build alignment, how they make decisions, and how they approach soliciting information from other areas of the business. It can also highlight what they've learned from their experience, and they can challenge their behavior since. And at the same time, sometimes unpopular decisions need to be made on how they weigh the pros and cons. Did they take measures to curb a negative reaction? All that good stuff. Okay. And hiring for leadership roles is a process that takes time to perfect. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, only 13% of companies report that their excellence at building global leaders. And with that said, preparing for a recruitment process with a clear understanding of your ideal candidate profile helps you identify the best candidate for the role. Use these interview questions as a part of structured interview process in which you ask each leadership candidate the same question so that you can evaluate them on the same criteria. Evaluating leadership skills is imperative to your recruiting process. Today, I promise to share the shift for building a recruiting strategy. You are less stressed, worried about losing employees to competition. When you have the right employee doing the right job, your revenue goes up. Your recruiting mindset will change. You will see a big increase in performance and decrease in turnover. Your time and man hours spent on parts of recruiting process will decrease. Let me take a quick sip of my tea again. The frustration of recruiting and dealing with the unknown human element has decreased for you. Will start to decrease. What you need to win for recruiting: attitude, willingness to get super productive with recruiting, a solid recruiting strategy, the ability to let go upfront work and outsource, the ability to invest in your recruiting to get the best results. Before we go any farther, I want to make sure everybody's tracking. We're on a webinar here. I want to engage, and we're going to talk at the end, more questions. But I always like to tell one of my jokes, because you're going to love this one. My auntie, as I was coming up, or, my son always shares jokes with me, and my auntie would always share jokes with me. And one of the jokes she taught me, she said, Tony, why did the man name his dogs Timex and Rolex? So I'm going to ask you on this: Why did the man name his dog Timex and Rolex? Okay, I'm waiting for the answer. We're on a webinar here. Okay, there you go, Tim. Congratulations. He got the right answer, Tim. It's because he because Timex and Rolex was his watchdogs. He named that because they were his watchdogs. So that's why he named them Timex and Rolex. Little humor for you. Ha ha ha. Okay, let's get back to the webinar. Okay, well now you have a choice. Okay, you have a choice on what you want to actually apply to your organization to help you make the best cost-effective hires that will ultimately maximize your profits and minimize your losses when it comes to your organization performing at the optimal level. Okay, so you have a choice. You can say, hey, Tony, I appreciate the advice. It applies, but it doesn't apply. Go fly a kite and, in the rainforest somewhere. And I'm going to say, okay, well, hey, I'm sorry you feel that way. I wish I could have helped you, and we, and that's okay. And that's understandable. Part ways as friends, no hard feelings. I get it. I get it. But hopefully something that I've told you here today, you can utilize it and you can implement it and execute so that way you can perform to the best of your ability. Your organization can perform to the best of their ability. Your new hire executive can perform to the best of their ability. So understand, I don't never waste time with anything that I do, and everything that I do has purpose. So understand what I've told you today will give you that ideal to keep you following your purpose in life to be more successful. So how can we help? My team and I, okay, has set aside some time in the next week to speak with you personally about how you can apply this recruiting strategy to your business. Starting today, the cost is free. That pretty much concludes the webinar. I'm going to be sticking around because I'm pretty sure you folks have some questions for me, and I always love to answer questions. I'm an open notebook. I'm an open book. So feel free to ask away. We're going to be online, and look forward to hearing from you. Definitely. Thank you for attending my webinar. So who's going to ask me the first question? Oh, I got a couple questions already. All right. Good, 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 good. Good.